Oh yeah! Hey guys, it's Mark Shay here. You're watching Exploring Music, and today we're talking about the 5 very first things you want to learn on guitar. So check it out! Just a few years ago this wouldn't be right. Number 1, how to hold your guitar. Now this is a very, how do you put it? This is a way that really comes down to taste in a way. There's so many different ways to hold your guitar. Now some people will say, hold it comfortably. Other people will say put your thumb halfway down the neck like that. As I've talked about before, you're going to want to learn how to play sitting down and standing up, so your hand positions are going to change. It's pretty much how you're comfortable. Some people like to hold it like this. Classical guitarists tend to hold their guitars like this and they'll play just like that. But of course the standard one is have it there and like that. Now whether your thumb comes all the way over, or it depends on the size of your hand. Like I said, if you're struggling to get up to the top, you bring your thumb down a bit like that. So you just bring your thumb down if you need to. If not, because there'll be other times where you'll want your thumb over to give you, you'll be playing things with your thumb. It just really depends on how you're doing it. The one thing that you don't want to do is hunch over like this trying to learn guitar, because that's the thing that beginners tend to do. They lean over and they're learning things like this, trying to see everything. And of course at first you want to try and see everything. You will get to that point where you know where everything is and you can play things without even looking. La 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 la. But another secret is, so you're not always breaking your neck trying to see over, you'll notice these little dots on the top of your neck. Now what they're for is to tell you the frets. Standard guitars, it'll be like 3, 5, 7, 9, and then it jumps up to 12. And then if you notice, it does the same. So 15, which is the same note as 3, just an octave higher. 17, which is the same as 5, just an octave higher, and so on. So that will give you a guide, and they're designed so that when you're looking down on that angle, you can see. So the big secret, so you're not hunched over like that, is to follow these dots. Again, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12 is the standard, but then sometimes there's not a dot on 3. Sometimes the dot over 9 is actually over 10. So have a look at your guitar and see where they are, because they are designed to give you that look where you look down, you can see where your hand is without seeing, like going like this and trying to count. So it's another cheat way as well. So you're not going, okay, 4 frets, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You just look down, 3 and 5, or 4's in the middle, duh. So that's what those dots are for. Now, also holding guitar, you don't want to have to push too hard. If you're, a lot of beginners will push down and they'll be straining and all that. You don't have to. Just push down a little bit until the note is clear. If you're hearing buzz or you're not pushing hard enough. So you just want to push down hard enough to make the note sound. So it's nice and clear. That's all you're doing. Sometimes to get in and get everything down, you might have to push hard at first until you build the muscle memory. But yeah, you can play very gently on most guitars. And that is basically the key to holding your guitar. Don't break your neck, and don't lean over, and just be comfortable. And as I said, you're going to be learning to play sitting down and standing up, so things are going to change as well. So find out what's comfortable for you, and if it's not comfortable and you're struggling with something, then try and adjust, because your hands should be able to move. So some people say put your thumb right in the middle of the neck and leave it there. Well, there's other times where you don't want to do that. You're going to be moving around when you play properly anyway. So you are going to come up and you're going to go down and all that sort of stuff. And also depending on where you are on the neck. That is where it comes down to just what's comfortable for you, and learn to move and adjust accordingly, just so you can get all the notes, make sure they're clear, and use your little cheat dots on top to help you know where you are. And that is how you hold a guitar. Number 2. Okay, now I've talked about you want to learn to use a pick. So yes, we've talked about learning how to, that you're going to want to learn how to play with a pick and with your fingers. You know, just playing with your fingers or playing with a pick. Now the important thing is how to hold a pick. That is the second thing you're going to learn how to do as you play guitar. A lot of beginners, they will grab it like this, with two fingers, their two fingers like that, and their thumb. That is a no-no. No, 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 no. You only want to hold your pick with these two fingers. Your index finger and your thumb. If you go like this, all of a sudden you lock up your hand. That is why you don't use 3 fingers, only 2 fingers. Because that, when you're picking, you're using your forearm, you're using your wrist, and you're using the muscles in your fingers as well. If you hold it with 3, you lock that up and your hand becomes more tense. So then it comes down to, how do you hold your pick? Well, an easy way to think about it is, it's parallel with your finger like that. You curve it down and have your thumb come across. So it looks like that. Now, what you want to do is, when you're playing rhythm and you're strumming, you want to have a fair amount of pick out so that it makes contact with all the strings. So the important thing is, when you're playing rhythm, you want to have a fair amount of pick overhang, because you'll be strumming. So you want to have plenty to make contact, and you want to have a bit of movement, and so that you get a little bit of percussion even on some picks, depending on how soft they are. So you do want to have a fair bit of pick out when you're strumming. But when you're soloing, that's when you pull it in and you want to make it as tiny as possible. So when you're doing individual notes, you want to have the pick as little as possible hanging out, so that way you have a lot more control. And it helps build up speed. So that's the whole point of having it really tiny, for when you're doing really fast stuff. And you can't do that when it's overhanging like that. Well, you can, but it's a lot harder, and you hear how messy it sounds. So just remember, the rule of thumb with this is, when you're doing rhythm, you want to let a bit of pick out, and when you're doing solo, you pull it in. And so it's just a slight movement of how you bring the finger. You can do both. And it's that simple. And that is the second thing that you learn when you play guitar. Number 3, the third most important thing to learn on guitar, as far as very first things, the third thing that you will learn on guitar is the name of the strings. Now this is really important. Well, it's the name of the strings and knowing what musical notes are. Now, I've talked about this in one of the other lessons, but we're talking about the very first things that you should learn. On your guitar, in a standard tuning, the notes from the thickest to the thinnest is E, A, D, G, B, E. So yes, the thickest and thinnest are the exact same note 2 octaves apart. So that's really important to know your strings. Now what's confusing is when you look at books and all that, they always say that number 1 string is high E. They kind of do it backwards, especially in, probably because tablature is written upside down. But yeah, so that way when you hear like the numbering of the strings and someone says, oh, the 4th string, they're actually talking from bottom up. And of course, most intuitive thing is thinking from the top down. So that's where I try and, I'd rather you learn the names of the strings so I can just say A, D, G, B, E, and you'll know what strings they are. And low E for the thick, low, high. So there's your high and low E's. So if you know the names of strings, that's better than trying to number the strings, because what's intuitive for beginners is they'll number it from the top down. So you say string number 1, a lot of people go to the low E. But technically, the number 1 string is high E. So that's where it gets a bit confusing. So just learn the names of the strings and get that locked into your memory. Now, to know about the notes of a musical notes, there is 12 notes. 12 notes in all of music. And so once you've learnt them, it's a cycle. So you just go up and down and then it repeats. So of course, like on piano and that, the first thing they say is middle C. And so a lot of times they start from C, which is weird, and then they go up and then it's A, B, C, you know, so it goes like that. So if you wanted to just start with the normal alphabet like you're used to, it's A, right? So we'll start on the A string. Right, so this way you can see it. So A, then B flat. It's a note. If you've seen a piano, which almost everybody has, you'll notice the black notes. Right, you got all these white keys and then you got the black keys. Well, the black keys are your sharps and flats. Right, now each black key is both a sharp and a flat. And what you'll notice on a piano, if you look, between the B and the C there's no black note. So there's no real C sharp, C flat or B sharp. They are the sharps and flats to it, because there's no black key. And if you look at the E and the F on a piano, there's no black note. That's why there's no F flat or E sharp. So this is how they kind of got the notes. So when you think, oh, okay, well hang on, there's no, I'm going up, but B and C's together, that's where it comes from, sort of thing. So we start at A, the next fret, the first fret on A string is B flat or A sharp. They're both the same. So it's A, think of sharp going up higher, flat going lower. So it's sharp of A and it's flat of B, and that's where they've got A sharp, B flat. It's the exact same note. Then you got B, and of course no black note there on a piano, so that means C is your 3rd fret. Then C sharp, D flat, then D, then D sharp, E flat, then E, and again go back to the piano, there's no black note in between E and F, so then the next note's F, then F sharp, G flat, then you got G, then you got G sharp, A flat, and on the 12th fret you're back to A. And it just keeps going in the circle again. So of course if you're starting on E, on the low string, remember, think about a piano layout. So it's E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And you've done that and it starts all over again. So well, we won't get into the technical things about sharps and flats on what's the easiest way to do it. It's whatever you can remember it best as, but just remember that, you know, all the black notes have 2 names to them and they're the same notes, but there's only 12 notes to learn. So that's one thing that's really important to get. So we'll go through it once without me playing anything. A sharp, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D flat, which is one note, then D, D sharp, E flat, then E, then F, F sharp, G flat, then G, then G sharp, A flat. What's next? We're back to A, and it starts again. That's all you need to know about musical notes. And so any time there's 12 notes maximum that you got to memorize, and then everything else is the same notes, maybe an octave higher, maybe an octave lower, you know. And we'll get to you know, like the 5th fret of A, the 5th fret on the low E is A. They're the same note, 5th fret and open A, same note. And that's where the next, it's going to come handy in the next important thing to learn. 4. Yes, the 4th most important thing to learn on the guitar is how to tune your guitar. Now I know a lot of you, especially with the way things are now, it's like, why do I need to learn how to tune guitar? I've got a tuner, you know, I push this button and then I pick it and then I look at the lights and I turn. Okay, so there, that's E, that's tuned, then go A. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is really easy because even the guitar's got a tuner on it. Well, not all guitars have a tuner on it. And you're saying, well, I've got another tuner that clips onto the headstock. Or I've got another tuner that I just plug the guitar into. And then it just tells me what it's tuning. But what happens if somebody just hands you a guitar and go, here, and it doesn't have any batteries in it, or it doesn't have a tuner built in, you don't have a tuner anywhere, and oh, something's out of tune, how am I going to tune it? Do you know how to tune your guitar? Just by going by listening. Now we're in tune. So how do you tune your guitar? There's a couple different ways. Well, and I'm going to show you really quickly. So the first one is, so that was what was important with knowing your notes, because you got to know what notes they are. Now, if you're just going to be playing on your own, nothing else, and that, it don't matter. You just find out, you know. We were talking about how they're the same notes, the 5th fret on the E string and the open A. So as long as they sound the same together, it's in tune. Okay, then you can go on from there. Now, of course, if you're going to be playing and with something, or if you've got something to tell you what an E is, like, okay, say throw on a song that you know is in E, something like Somebody Like You by Keith Urban, or Enter Sandman by Metallica. All you got to do is in the main section that's in where they're playing a lot of E's, you just want to tune that up into to sound exactly the same. You know, you think of the riff of Metallica's Enter Sandman. So you just want to get that to that first note and get it similar, and there you've got E, and then you can start from there. But it doesn't have to be pitch perfect if you're playing just on your own. So the main thing is making sure the guitar is in tune with itself. And of course, if there's a second guitar or something, you can tune together and make them into keys. So you don't have to be pitch perfect in that sense. If you can, it helps, because obviously the strings are designed to be in a certain pitch. But if you're a little bit out, that's fine. You know, of course, if it's a little too high, the strings are going to be really tight and that, so you're better off to caution a little bit on the lower side of things. So yeah, if I'm doing that, I'll do the first two, which is A, the 5th fret and then the open A, and the one that's lower I'll tune to that. Well, then I'll check the next one, which is 5th fret and open D, and if they're close then I'll go back and whatever's lower I'll tune down, just to play safe so that you don't accidentally snap a string because it's a little bit too high that you're not sure of. But now the main way, the basic simple way, is matching the strings at two at a time. Now you can't just go 5th fret all the way down, boom boom boom, because there's actually a little bit of a catch as you get down the neck. So basically 5th fret on the E string, low E, and the open A string, just those two, and you want those two to sound the same, so that's where you turn the knobs to make them sound the same. Once you got those top two, what you want to do is you go down to the 5th fret on the A string, which is D, and your open D, and you play those two. Now if they're not in tune, you know the top two strings are in tune. Now the A and the D string aren't in tune when you play the 5th fret on the A string and open D. Remember, don't tune the A string, you want to make the D string match the A string, because if you move the A string then you've just gone back to the square one. So starting from again from the beginning, you want E string, 5th fret, and open A. Make sure they match. Then you go down to the 5th fret on the A string and open D. And of course I've got a whippersnipper in the background, but we're almost through this video, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, now on the next two is the D string, 5th fret, which of course is G and G, open G. 5th fret on the D string, which is G and open G. So you make sure those two sound the same. Now here's the little catch. You can't do the 5th on the G string, because if you go up the notes, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, 4th fret. 4th fret is B. So then you want the 4th fret on the G string and the B string open, and you want to make those two sound the same. And then once you got that done, on the B string, of course 5th fret is E, and you want those two to sound the same. And when you do that, you'll notice that you are in tune. Of course, once you've gone down, if you've had to do a lot of major tuning, got to repeat the process from the beginning again, because if the strings are really out of tune, when you've tuned down, these could become looser as there's more tension on the neck. So that's when you want to go back and check. So I apologize for the on the whippersnipper. Been doing nothing already and now he decides to whippersnip. Yeah, so I'm sorry about the guy on the whippersnipper in the background. So that is the easy way to tune. Simple numbers, 2 strings at a time, 5 0, 5 0, 5 0, 4 0, 5 0. And as long as they sound the same, you're right. Now another thing is when 2 notes are slightly out of tune, I don't know if you'll pick it up on this, especially with that going. Can you hear a kind of waver? You'll hear a little bit of a waver. Like when you play them together and they're slightly out, you'll hear this sort of little waver. So listen for that little waver and match it until it's gone. And when you're in tune, that little waver is gone. It's matching. And that is number 4. Wait, number 5. Yes, I know. Okay, so you know how to hold your guitar, you know how to hold your pick, you know the names of the strings, you know how to tune your guitar. So the very first thing, I know it's boring as hell, but there's a simple scale I want you to play, to learn and to play. And we'll get into actually making it harder and that later on. I know it's boring, but this is really important, something you should be learning straight off. It builds muscle and muscle memory in your fingers. It's to strengthen your fingers and get them used to playing. It's a real simple exercise. All it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's all I want you to do for now. So hold your pick right. And each finger gets a fret. So I don't mean play it like that. So with the tips of your fingers, you're going to go up the neck of the guitar like that, or down, however you want to view it. And then backwards. Now, I know it's boring as hell and you want to start learning really cool stuff, but this is something that you should be playing every time you practice. Just to start building the muscles in your fingers and getting them stronger, and also starting to get some muscle memory happening. So it seems really simple and really boring, and I get it, I really do. But this is something that's easy to remember, and it does so much good for your guitar playing. So you're thinking like, well, like what would it do? Okay, I get you. You want me to learn to pick, with push down and get those stronger and get used to that and start building calluses. But it's so much more than that. You got to pick a time. Okay, now I know that when you first start, you're not going to be going. You're not going to be running off like that. You'll probably be like. I know it's probably going to be slow, and which will make it even more boring. But the rules to this are really simple. Each fret gets a finger. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up. And then backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, not only are you doing that, you need to be in time. So however slow you have to do it, just think of a clock going bang, bang, bang. If you've got a metronome, that's even better. Just set the metronome to how fast you got to do it. But I want you to keep in time. And each note gets played on time, including changing strings. So you're not only combining these two, because you got to pick the notes. So you learn let's say that you have not even picked up a guitar before ever. That's, if you've never picked up a guitar before, this is even more important. So no gaps in timing. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. What this does is it trains your hands not only to work together, but to stay in time together, to change strings together. Because what a lot of people do when they first learn this scale, they think, oh, okay, I'll go. They're thinking, well, I can go really quick. Well, you're not going really quick, because you're going really quick along the strings, like. But then you have to stop and you have to change strings. So this is why it also works on that as well. So this is working. You want to be able to change strings in time. Forwards and backwards. And like later on, I will show you little tricks on how to modify that really small to work on a whole bunch of other things. And to get things happening and all that sort of stuff. All that'll come as well. Look, I know scales are really boring. They're really boring. I'll tell you that up front. But this is something that's really important, and it will really help your guitar. If you just take 5 minutes out of your practice just to run over that and make sure you're getting things in time together. If you can, when you've got the hang of it, with your pick hand, I want you to alternate it. So instead of going down, 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 down all the time, I want you to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's how I want you to pick it. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. When you've got the hang of the other one, just go down at the moment, just down, 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 down. Just pick like that for now until you get the hang of it. Once you've got the hang of it, I want you to go down, up, because that all of a sudden creates a whole new thing that will open up a lot of doors later on, especially when we start getting into alterations of that scale. But yes, I know it's really boring and it's sort of like, well, yeah, I don't like that sort of stuff. But this is something, just take 5 or 10 minutes out of your practice day and just play that scale and make sure it's in time, and go as fast as you can go, which means if the fastest you can go is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If that's as fast as you go, that's fine. Remember, we all started there. So it don't matter how fast you hear somebody play. Everybody started just really, really slow. That's how it works. So don't be discouraged. The speed will come. As you build your muscles and the muscle memory in your hands, your hands will know what to do, and next thing you know, you're going. And you'll be laughing. So yeah, so just start it off. That is that was the 5th thing, that is the most important thing that you should be learning first on your guitar, because that will help you in so many ways you do not even understand right now. Yeah guys, well, I hope you've enjoyed that. This is my first top 5 list. I've done a top 10 now, and I've done top 5. But yeah, I hope you realize the importance of it. I know how to hold your guitars a bit. It's like, well, really, it's how you're most comfortable. Don't listen to everybody else. Be how it's comfortable for you. I had to put that in there because that is the first thing to learn, is how to hold your guitar, whether you want to hold like that or whatever. But everything else is so important as well. So I hope you found that interesting. Make sure you learn that stuff. Those are the 5 things you should learn first when you grab a guitar and you got a guitar. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Remember, if you like the video, hit like. If you haven't yet, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the future videos. I got heaps of guitar stuff coming up, as well as other exploring music stuff that's coming as well. Share it, tell your friends about it, comment down below, tell me what you think, if you agree with my list or if you don't agree with my list. But yeah, tell me what you think, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And also, I can't do these videos without the awesome support of Conceptual Creative. So head over to markshaymusic.com.au and see what they've done for me. If you need web hosting or website design or any of that, they're on it. So check out Conceptual Creative. The links are in the description. Tell them I sent you. Send them some love. But until next time, I'm Mark Shay. This is Exploring Music. See ya! This episode of Exploring Music is brought to you by Lag Guitars and Conceptual Creative. Check them out today. Hit the like button and comment and tell me what you think of this video. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos.